Welcome to the Locker, Season 4, Episode 23. I'm A White along with Van House. First showed up when we go into the intro, we got one viewer. No, I look on the dang on thing. It's StreamBot, whoever StreamBot is. Like, yeah, I'm gonna hop right in. Like, fuck it. Like,
right.
Let me get right in the mix. So so StreamBot was here. Let me get my mic up off the screen. So that's where we at. We back at 9 o'clock, not 9:30. Hey, listen, you know what? If you sign up for a subscription, you're gonna know. So anywhere between 9 and 9:30, we talked it over. Management, HR had a discussion. 9:30 was not. You didn't have to do 9:30, so we going with 9. So you get a full hour show instead of a 30-minute show. Applause for that. Anyway, so how's it going? Obviously, you said summer basketball is over. So how did that turn out?
Summer basketball was interesting. I don't want to get into the semantics. So last year team went to the state championship game, but they lost their best player, post player, and they lost a couple more seniors. One of the guards gone, so they got a really young team. They have no seniors this year, 2 juniors, a few sophomores, a couple freshmen. Then my daughter will be in 8th grade, so they are small, but they're gonna be scrappy, I hope.
So y'all can play up down there too, then.
Yeah, well, it's K through 12.
Oh, the school you went to?
Yeah, school I went to.
How many years you went there?
Well, when I went there, it was 5th through 12.
And you went 5th through 12?
Yes, I went 5th through 12.
Oh, hell no. Oh, man. You was in the same school all them years. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Why is that a while, though?
Huh?
Why is that a while? Like 3 whiles. Why is that 3 whiles?
Many levels. I mean,
it's unfair.
When I went from middle school to high school, I had to earn my name with them guys already over there.
Oh,
now mind you, the twins was already there, and they played as freshmen. I was their younger cousin.
Okay.
So I probably could have been coming off the bench in 7th or 8th grade if I'd have been in the school, because I would have been playing against the guys.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get to high school until the seniors. I don't know if you remember when we had Bob Pacey on.
Yeah.
The guards in front of us said, I always tell people, we played in front of 3 professional athletes. Well, you were seniors and our coach. And then, honestly, there may have been a learning curve. So it might have been the best thing. We may have had a learning curve that day he didn't want to go through. But if I was there in 5th, 6th grade, working against them 7th and 8th, 8th grade, hey, you might have been coming off the bench as a senior.
No. Now, you don't mix them unless you call somebody up. So when I was in 5th grade, we didn't touch high school practice. We had our own.
What about 6th and 7th?
No. You didn't practice at all until you got to 9th grade with the varsity.
And your daughter will get some 8th grade action.
Well, I'm trying to think, Anthony. I don't think in the major sports. Now there are some swimmers, tennis players, golfers who played when they were younger, but I don't think there's a male that played up in the major sports ever. Well, I guess if track and field is major, there are a couple of cross country guys that move up from like a 7th or 8th grade
household.
Yeah. So no football player, no basketball player played varsity as an 8th grader or 7th grader.
Real pros mics. I understand what you're saying. Hey, we always have real mics.
Yeah, these the same. This is my same mic.
Mine always been off the screen. So Loserville gets named designated survivor in this year's ACC SEC challenge. Also, Louisville is not in the ACC SEC challenge. I guess that's what he's saying.
I guess.
Well, I mean, what they win 4 games. Hey, we start to show off of this before we get anything. And I guess because we transplant. Well, you're not a transplant, but you were here. You were adopted native. Is it really that serious that you got to take a jab every time? And once we become bigger, is it frowned upon for you to take jabs at Louisville? And because I go on the message boards, no matter what it is. Somebody said something about Case and Wallace, and somebody made a comment that said Michael Kidd-Gilchrist got drafted before Damian Lillard and somebody Bradley Beal. A Kentucky fan, one of the comments said, yeah, I mean his college stats, he was a better scorer than AD. He said he was more athletic than AD. He said whatever it was. I mean, I might have to send you the link, man. But so it was just kind of the Kentucky blue glasses on, and I'm like, dude, I can't even support you. Every now and then I'll punch a like. If there's a real good punchline, I'll punch a like. But our fan base just jump in anytime somebody say something about Kentucky, and they start battling them, or they say something about Louisville, like they just punch it, just start swinging like Trey did in Boys in the Hood when they killed Ricky.
It goes both ways, man. I've seen it both ways. I've seen you know what's the worst though? If I have to really compare, is Tennessee. Because why does Tennessee even worry about us? Like, it's your program history is traditionally a better program. So why are you worried about little us? If you don't care about us, why are you worried about, dude? I don't know, SEC Mike, I think, put on a poll or said something about how Mark Stoops and how he believes in the program. Cole Kublik says the same thing. And they're like, someone pulls a stat like, well, Mark, if you believe in 500 football, look, his record is such and such and all. Like, dude, really? That's where we're going to go? So you're going to go the year after the 2-10 year.
Right.
You're going to count all the years when I think most sane people will say at least the last 5. Some people say last 3, but the last 5 is where the program is currently. What? Well, why? Well, why? That's wrong.
No, but that was another thread I was on. And an Auburn fan said, in the last 6 years, then he's comparing Kentucky to Auburn in the last 6 years. And it was Auburn that went further in the SEC or something. Auburn went further in the tournament. Whatever it was.
That's fair.
That's not fair for you to come at my program and you just pulling a 6-year window out of the whole history.
See.
All right, hold on. If you're talking about Cal, then take Cal's whole 12 or whatever it is, and you still got a good sample size, so you still might win. But you're gonna say the last 6 years. But the problem is, once you started spending from the last 6 years, your shit diminished greatly. Our shit get greater.
See that? See the weird part about it is you went 6.
Right.
I haven't heard anybody go 6. It's usually 5. Where you add the other year was 6. What was 6? That'd have been 2017. Was that a bad year or something? I don't think it was. Was it?
Sure.
Oh, 2017 was a bad year, wasn't it?
6 years. I don't know. No, that 17.
I think 18 was a good year, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what you consider a good year, my man.
You know. I think didn't Auburn do? When did we lose to Auburn in the tournament?
Well, I'm saying Auburn went deep a couple years ago.
Was it 2018 then?
Somebody gonna pop up on the chat. I'm looking
Yeah,
up.
it'll happen.
Pop up on the chat.
I only have one monitor on the road, so I can't.
Oh no, we cool. Let me see. You can go ahead with your point. I come back to you with that.
But Anthony, this is what hurts me, right? This is what I hate about fans sometimes. This is 2023. Why are we bringing up the 90s or the 80s? I ain't got shit to do with 2023. You know, I don't think the 20 teens has anything to do with 2023. Unless you're going to go to the end of the 20 teens, maybe 2019, 18, maybe. But who gives a damn? T. Martin in what, 1998 won Tennessee National Championship? Like, dude, that's 98. T. Martin is a coach and got kids. Like, who cares what happened in 1998? That kind of the world. We have eight national championships. So, like, the last one was what, 13?
Yeah, championship 13 year.
Yeah. So last one was 13. When was your last one? That's kind of what we don't. Or we have 8. Like, who cares about the 60s? I'm just being honest. The 60s ain't got nothing to do with now.
You that guy?
I don't like when fans were, well, check our history. Like, who cares?
So wait a minute. So what you saying is, and can I have this argument with somebody? Mine's willing to beat Alabama twice in the history of Kentucky football. So my argument that I beat Alabama is, well, they had a down year. And I actually take pause to it.
That's bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit.
But before we lost to them jokers was like, before we beat them, they was like 4-1 or something. They was good after we beat them, like
right.
4 or 5 people beat them.
The year before, when we played them at their place,
but they were ranked.
They weren't nothing special.
Right.
So
I ain't that guy, man. I ain't that guy.
Now we were in the year 2000. That win that was 98, right?
97 we beat Alabama.
All right. 97 matters. You know what I'm saying? If this was 2002, 97 matters. This 2015, don't nobody give a damn about 97. That's just like LSU right now. They can hang their hat on Joe Burrow's year for another couple years. Then it's gonna be like, dude, do you know how long ago that was? What have y'all done since then?
See, I don't know. I see you that guy, man. You that guy with the Twitter fingers.
Yeah, I'm that every 5-year guy. That's like, look, Josh Allen's year is starting to fade away from me.
Yeah.
That Will Levis year is the one that you should be hanging your hat on. That 10-win season that year. You pop up another 10-win season, then we can stack stuff up. But that 2018 year, dude, that seems like a long time ago.
Here's my problem, and all y'all checking out in Twitter land, YouTube land, everywhere else land. This is my problem, Van. If you gonna give, and I'm gonna pull it up as I'm talking, if you gonna give that Will Levis year all that credit, and you say, I know you saying he got a few years of ride on it, and this is most recent recency bias. That's what you're going with.
The program.
Okay. Then Terry Wilson's year shouldn't have faded that quick. That motherfucker left. Like, it left immediately.
No, it shouldn't have. Yeah, it shouldn't.
But do you agree it left? Yeah. Fan base wise, dude. And I ain't gonna knock the locker because I love the show. I love the locker is. I love the locker. I watch it every week I can. The locker was even making fun of it.
Oh, what?
Just because we understand.
Oh, what?
But even for the next couple years, hold on. Let me get the differences.
What were we laughing about? What are we making fun of?
That, you know, what Terry Wilson did, and now Terry Wilson had a transfer, not the year after, but even if you go back to the year he started,
Yeah.
and you compare it to Will's year started,
yeah. No, I got you.
But that Joker, but after, I guess maybe because he left, you can give it that. I don't know. Will did, and Terry got hurt his second year. Did he? Did he have terrible games before he got hurt? Now we knew he was hurt.
No,
he didn't have terrible games though.
Wilson got hurt early in the second
season. Yeah. No, I think he came right out when he got hurt against Florida, right?
Huh?
Was it Florida?
No, it was before Florida. It was one of these directional schools, Eastern Michigan.
No, how did the one guy get in? The guy from Southern Miss.
Sawyer Smith.
How did he get in?
Yeah, Sawyer Smith. That was the year. Terry blew his knee out.
Florida, he got
Eastern
hurt.
Michigan.
Okay.
Sawyer
I'm talking about the one that sent
him
out forever, or was the Eastern Michigan game sent him out forever?
Yep. He blew that knee out. Eastern Michigan.
Damn, I thought it was later. All right, my bad.
Well, that was the first or second game of the year.
Okay. Let me see. Let me catch up on some of these chats.
I would say, look, I'm gonna say this, and while you're catching up, Terry Wilson, if he doesn't get hurt that next year, Terry Wilson's perception in the program would be even higher because they had a really good team that year. They had a good offensive line. They had Lynn Bowden. They were going to be tough that year. And as you said earlier, the SEC was down that year too.
Who is LOL Town?
Hold on, I can't.
Do I jab LOL Town every chance?
That's Louisville, I guess.
He said he said that about Louisville the first time. Maybe he's reiterating. I'm with Ann. I thought it was Florida when he got hurt.
It was that Eastern Michigan game.
Well, I'm about to go to the books.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember him going out on a sprint option or something, and that guy grabbed him in the jersey and pulled him in.
If you are, I'm gonna start calling you Van Pilgrim.
Call me Van Jack. That sounds better.
Van Pilgrim. Okay, wait a minute. What was his year? Wait a minute. Oh, it didn't. Hey, UK Athletics, y'all got to update y'all website, man. Because every time I try to look up something, it'd be rough.
Dude, I go to the sports
stats,
sports reference.
Yeah. But I'm trying to. Damn. All right. Well, I might not.
I'm getting there.
We will carry on our conversation because I might not be.
2019, Terry Wilson played Toledo and Eastern Michigan. That's it.
You already found it?
Mm-hmm.
You got a faster computer than me.
No, I got a phone. He was in his first game. He was 19 of 26 for 246 and 2 touchdowns. In the second game, he was 14 of 26.
He didn't come back.
No,
check the Florida game.
He came back the next season.
So he ain't come back at all. You sure?
He blew his knee out.
What?
He blew his knee out in Eastern Michigan. He wasn't coming back.
How you know that?
You don't remember the game?
I remember him getting his knee blown out, but
yeah, he didn't come back that season. He was done.
I'm gonna confirm it. Not that I don't agree with you, but your last name is Pilgrim.
So I'm gonna call you.
Okay, so that's what it was. Sawyer Smith started Florida after that injury. That's where the correlation is. That's what it was.
What, Sawyer Smith started next game?
Yeah, Sawyer Smith was the first game starting was
Florida.
Florida.
Yep.
That's where the whole correlation between Terry Wilson getting hurt and Sawyer Smith starting.
Yep.
I went over a decade and never drove to, let alone drove through Loser Town. If that makes me a bad fan, I'll own it. It is what it is. Hey, people can treat their fandom however they want to. Man, you spend your money, you do what you do, you drink your bourbon however you drink it. And like I said, I don't know. USM Cat fan, are you from Kentucky? Maybe ain't. I just attest. Maybe I'm not from Kentucky. Against Florida. See, everybody thought it was against Florida. Felipe Frank got hurt.
That is true.
Now,
Frank got hurt.
Frank did come up out. That boy gave us a chance.
Yeah, Frank's getting hurt in that game is why they won. Huh. Wow, USM, that's crazy. Wow. Dude, right. Anthony, did you hear what you because I lived in Chi-Town for 17 years. And I used to come to drive to Louisville. Drive to Lexington. This joker said he drove to Cincinnati. He went an extra. Dude, that's at least an extra 2 hours, maybe 3.
I'm gonna call Cap, but I ain't.
Dude, I'm calling Cap too.
That is a hell of a commitment.
Hey, I'm calling, dude, for you to try, just not to have to go to. All right, just from Cincinnati to Louisville is what, an hour, right?
Yeah, approximately. Yeah,
that is at least 2.5 hour additional drive, at minimum.
Feel how fast you drive.
No, that's at least. It's at least an hour to Cincy from. Yeah, dude, that's bad, man. That's taking the rivalry to another level. I can't imagine going a detour route just so you wouldn't have to go through Louisville. That's commitment right there, man.
Stephen C wants to know how do we keep the team healthy. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all what, and I thought about this before we came on here. This is not guided towards Stephen C. I work on a radio show. I listen to some other radio shows. If people ask questions, they're gonna keep asking, what do you think about this year? Man, we add people. Ain't nothing going on this spring. Ain't nobody jumped nobody yet. So we can beat the dead horse. We can talk about this stuff, and we will. I mean, we will talk about it. I don't know if this team is as good as last year's team was. Van seems to kind of think it is. I won't argue that. I think we got a better quarterback. I think we got a better running back room if anything happens. Only X factor, like a Superfan Ann said, if the O-line performs and this team looks better, I don't discount last year's team. If this O-line performs, we're going to be nice. But you said keeping the team healthy. I don't know if keeping the team healthy because our O-line got a lot to prove. If our quarterback goes down, that's the healthy part. Running back, I ain't worried about nobody getting hurt. Receiver, I really ain't worried about anybody getting hurt. I'm worried about them tying one on and trying to get behind the wheel, which you shouldn't do. But
I'm gonna go out on a limb right now.
Oh Lord, here we go.
If this O-line is average at worst, this team is better than the 2018 team. On God, period. Book it, snip it, edit it, play it back. If this O-line, the only thing that team had better than us, than this team, I said us, then this version of this team is Josh Allen. The quarterback is better. Okay, the running back, Benny is better as a solo guy, better than this group. But this running back room as a whole is better than that running back room. The wide receivers are obviously better. The defensive line is better. The linebackers, to me, are better because that was a young linebacker crew. If you remember, in 2018, this linebacker crew is a little more athletic. I remember Jamin Davis didn't even play on that team. I think the safeties are just as good. I don't think anybody's as good as Mike Edwards, but I think the group as a whole is better. And now you want to say the corners? I will give you the corners. I'll give you the corners and and Josh Allen.
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. These thoughts are Van House
Exactly.
and Van House alone. Please do not include me in your response to his evaluation and his dedication to Kentucky Pride. Going back to the chat room, John KY Blue, out of the positions next year, which will be the worst?
All of the divisions next year. You mean this season? When you say next year, I'm like 20.
Coming up, yeah.
Out of this season, one out of the position, which would be the worst? Shit, it's got to be the O-line.
No. So he's saying from last season to
compared to this
which
season?
position be worse? Which position gonna be worse? Shit, the O-line get worse this year. We ain't going bowling either.
Anthony, that's a hard one, dude. I can't do that. Damn.
Gonna be worse?
Worse than last year. Dude, I can't. Okay, if I have to, I would. If you got to go with one, because I don't think any of the groups are gonna be worse, like bad. But you're saying worse than last year. I would say the running back room. That's
not last year. You can't go off the recency bias.
Well, no. And here's the reason why. It's a reason why. Remember, we had C-Rod out the first 3 games. The first thing that came to mind when I started going through the group, Ole Miss game, we had the perfect call on a screen pass to a guy who's no longer here. He could have caught the ball, ran the other way 10 yards, and then came back and still scored. It was so wide open.
You could do the Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he could have done. That running back room without C-Rod, we're talking about the entire season last year, was okay. I think this year, if all the guys come in healthy from start to finish, I said worse, huh? That's the only one I can go with. I can't see another one.
I don't think we can really get worse at the tight end room, although the tight end room wasn't bad. So, but we really can't get worse there.
You can't get
Offensive
worse.
line, you can't get worse.
Right, you can't get. You damn sure can't get worse.
Wait a minute. What did he say? What team is going to be worse this year than last year? I don't think it's going to be receivers because we got a better quarterback.
Yeah, and the receivers are.
I would say probably linebackers.
Okay.
Because last year the starters went out and the guys who playing this year filled in.
Yes.
I'm going to assume if these guys go down,
yeah,
it ain't that season.
No, because they young.
So I think I'm gonna go with linebacker room. Running back room has so many great transfers. Here's the one thing about that too, though, Johnny KY Blue. You come up with good points and I always got some shit for you, though. Van, what do you think my gripe is about someone saying the running back room has so many great transfers?
Because I think we both say and know somebody's taking reps away from a guy that we think is that dude. So, and I'm not sure that some of these transfers are difference makers.
And I'm gonna linger on the old difference maker part, because if they are a running back transfer, that means getting it done where you was at. Now, Ray Davis, I don't know what his thing was. Ray Davis has been in 74, 78 schools.
Yeah, he didn't leave because he was a starter. You know what I'm saying? He left as a starter. That's a different scenario of leaving. So I think you got to take him out of that equation. With I know you're gonna say the other ones. Yes, I agree with you. I understand where you're going.
Yeah, so like I said, we got plenty of people in here, but I was also in that fold where I was to the point where I had to leave UK, but instead the coaches left. So I mean, I fully understand the whole idea that.
The coaches got fired. He said the coaches left.
Well, I'm saying if I would have had to go somewhere, somebody would have been looking at me like, "Oh, he could." And can you imagine in the '90s,
Yeah,
after the year we had
yeah.
in '96, saying, he came from Kentucky. Man, it was 110th in Russia. Like, you want to come here?
Were we that high?
How many? It was 113 teams, wasn't it? Yeah. Akron was still playing. Akron and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I ain't gonna I want a bunch of dogs. I want dogs. I want dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Our defense is gonna be nice. It's hard to argue with, man. It's hard to argue with.
Dude, our defense, and I'm gonna say this since USM gets on me about talking about the DBs. As I said, in what the year was that? Was that 2019 Eccles year? Yeah, 2019. I told people, oh, pump your brakes on the DBs. They're going to be okay. After we lost Westry, Beatty, and Lonnie Johnson, I'm like, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. With this system, we don't put too much pressure on the corners. This cornerback group is going to be better than last year's cornerback group.
That ain't going to be hard to be.
Well, some people don't feel that way.
The good part of our cornerback group only had 6 good games.
Anthony, you and I we speak the same language sometimes. There are a lot of people looking at this cornerback group and don't feel like it's going to be good. Because if you think about it, we have no starter, I guess, Andrew Phillips. So you got Phillips and you got, I'm going to say, Hardaway going to probably be the other corner. That's what I'm penciling in. No one's seen Hardaway play in college, really. We haven't, even though he played at UC. And Phillips played more of nickel last year.
Right.
Because we had Smith and Valentine. So there's some people saying that they are real scared about that cornerback group. I'm going to tell you right now, I even like Maxwell Hairston. I think we are at least minimum 3 deep. And I'll be honest with you, as a corner, you don't really want to come out the game. You really don't. But with having nickel and people coming out 3 wide, you need 3 DBs because you're going to have to probably use that third corner at nickel sometime. So I feel good about the cornerback room, really, to be honest with you.
No one's surprised. No surprise there. We got a lot of dogs on the D-line. That's what fires me up this season. Yeah, we got a whole lot of rotation. I know the defense line coach personally. He knows, I guess, who he plans on starting, but it really ain't no such thing as starting there. You know what? We played a couple games. We wanted to run a screen on the first play was out of a single back. We put our best block in. Well, you knew it was cutting the end, but so we put our fullback in, but I still got to start for that game. I still got the title for the start. So it ain't really who started the game, but I know, like I said, on the D-line, we do got plenty of dogs. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
We got plenty of dogs where Ox might not start.
Huh?
We are so deep. Ox
Wait a minute. No. What the hell you mean might not start?
Ooh, okay. Well, I don't have that.
Where you get that shit from? If Ox start, I leave the United States for 30 days.
I don't have inside information. I don't know.
I don't either. You got eyes. You got eyes. You got 4 of them.
Ox might not start.
And I don't know why you keep saying might.
I'm repeating what I said.
I'm telling you, if he don't put on 40 pounds and he starts, I will leave the United States for 30 days. Ox? Are you cooking? Are you cooking? You talking about cooking oxtails or something? You told your wife to start the oxtails? What are you talking about? Ox my dude. We make fun on this show, but look, hopefully no players were harmed during the production of this podcast. But I'm saying what it is. Like, he got to put some weight back in his ass.
Who you think gonna start, Ripka or Saunders? If you had to put a name down.
I think it depends on whoever had a good week. From what I hear, I hear inside the camp.
Okay.
Whoever had a good week.
So with all that said, right? We just listed 5 defensive linemen, and we ain't said Hayes yet. So we got 6 offensive line, 6 defensive linemen, whom the majority of them has played for us meaningful snaps.
Yeah.
How many teams can potentially have a 6-man rotation that are SEC players with only one not having SEC reps? And that's a guy from Tobacco Road, we will say, who came over here from the East Coast. He's going to be all-star nose tackle. So that's a pretty damn good group.
Yeah, well. We got Saunders, Ripka, Anili is supposed to make some.
Okay.
My dude was talking a whole lot about Tavion Gasson.
Oh, what?
I don't know if he's talking in that term, like look out for your position, but you know how it is when you got a coach who, if you come in and work, you gonna play. Tavion come in hungry, plate empty. Hey. And we got who we got? Josiah, Silver, and we a little thin. I think we can move. I think we can move some things around. Then you looking at Dion, Octavius. I don't know about Darian Young Henry. I think some people gonna move around because I hear Ripka, Saunders, Anili, and Gasson probably gonna see the field. So depending on down the distance, once you get them D ends, them wide ends out, if you gotta get the wide ends out, nickels, then they might be jacked. If we can get some of them D ends to be able to form, you might have to put a jack in at the D end. You can keep the D end in and go a nickel, huh?
That's some hot tea you boiling right now. Hey, your tongue hurting right now, boy. You dished out some hot tea.
Hey man, I'll be talking. Yeah, I'm like Beyonce. I've been thinking.
You pulled one out on me, Gatson. Okay.
Hey, I said the same thing about Deion Walker last year. Not knowing a whole lot about him, just looking at his size. You and I both know the coach they got over there. Because you know why? Because as a player, he was that dude. You come in as a freshman, if I'm pushing people around making noise, why I'm going to make you wait? Yeah. What is that? What would that do to a kid if you and her making a difference and I make you wait? And I'm saying I understand that. I've done it to people just because I'm like, man, I don't. Now, if you're a really good kid and you do everything right, then you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and get the start. You probably ain't going to finish because you paid your dues, and I think there's a price to that. But the way this dude's saying, like, if you coming in and you planning on getting 20 or 30 snaps, and this freshman come in, shit, we might give you 15, give him 15 of your 30. So, I don't know.
I don't see him on the roster.
No, he just reported.
When?
He reported when you was in town.
Really?
That's what I was told. Unless something didn't clear.
Okay.
I was told he reported when you were in town.
Okay. Okay. I'm liking that. That's a hard one to come in so young and make a impact. Don't be looking at the don't be looking at Deion Walker and expecting everybody to come in like him.
Oh no, I understand what you. No, I definitely understand that whole. Obviously, I understand that whole concept of because you can. No, I'm telling you, when dude, when you not comfortable at the people you got playing the position,
Yeah.
and you got a young guy who come in. That's what I mean. I think he was comfortable with the people, not being coachable, not being able to, playing a zero, not being able to move laterally. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. I gotta follow. You got me concerned now. I gotta follow back up because I was assuming.
Hey, we both know that in the trenches, coming in as a freshman is hard. It's hard. That's a man. That's a grown man position. And
6'5", 275 is a pretty big guy.
Okay. All right. Well,
where's he? Georgia.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm changing my position. All right. Now the problem
I gotta follow up, make sure everything came through because you got me concerned now.
Now here, no. He signed. He didn't enroll early.
Maybe the test scores ain't came back yet, but I was told he enrolled the same weekend you was here, or maybe was that the weekend when everybody was reporting, or it might have been the next weekend.
I don't know.
So it might have been after you left the show. I think they reported.
They report. What I'm saying is this is where I get that from. I don't want to confuse the situation. When you said you heard that he was showing out, I thought that meant he was in spring because
no.
You had I got my hands on you, instructing you. I'm like, okay, young fella, you picking up what I'm saying. You're saying that his high school film is underrated, and when our boy gets his hands on, his progression is going to be stark.
Here's one aspect I'm not sure if you understand about UK football now. So, okay. One thing now, and I'm not sure all coaches are like this. I know one coach particular is like, dude, they do workouts, film study. They talk a whole lot of football. All we did, I don't know what happened to you. All we did was went to the club, went to the movie, went to a party, and asked me, do I like the thing? I'm telling you, this dude, no. So I'm telling you, and you can tell, because I know this dude's pedigree, you can tell when you start talking football, if they finish your sentence, yeah, man, if the center does it, I'm right here. I'm like, I don't know the verbiage that they use on the D-line, but that's where everything coming from. That when you got guys been there 2 or 3 years and you still explaining stuff to them, but you got freshmen coming in, and they finish your sentence. I mean, there's still a physical aspect. I think that has to come into place, but that's kind of more where it's at. Kind of knowing like, hey, this dude ready. So if his mental and physical matches up with his energy and ability to pick up the playbook. And the one thing about it, man, you playing under Brad White, man.
Yeah.
If you can't pick up the playbook, Brad White will dummy the playbook down for you.
Right.
I didn't say Brad Scangarello. I said Brad White, which is from the root of Anthony. White. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, time out. Pause. Before we go further, you're going to have to change the title of this episode. I just look
No, I was trying to get to it, man. I'm gonna get to it before we get out here. I'm gonna get to it. Man, I'm gonna get to it, man. Hold on.
You got 10 minutes.
No, we're gonna get to it. And they jumped on that. We're gonna get to it, man.
All right.
No, we're gonna get to it. Actually, I'm gonna get to this, then we're gonna get to it. It's gonna lead right into it. The Kale Crowders. There was a spell check problem. So the Kale Crowder, he's not a developer. He doesn't have that kind of money yet. And may not have that money if things go as they seem to have, may have been going. What about the Kale Crowders catching a DUI under the age of 21, under the legal limit of 0.08? He was under his 0.08, so he wasn't legally drunk. There was a little bit of dank in the car, marijuana, reefer, sticky, chronic, whatever you would call it. And I kind of felt like we brought it up on Sunday morning. And I was like, I don't know, man. It was still kind of early, it's fresh. Some people just want to bring the subject out. I'm like, this ain't really nothing to bring out immediately. Let's sit on it for a minute. And then by the end of the show, like, all the charges were not on the sheet. So I don't know if they're being in question because, one, okay, if he was underage drinking, he wasn't drunk, but if he was underage drinking, that's a problem in itself.
Yep.
If the weed wasn't his, I don't know what else. Then they got him for reckless driving. So Susan Slacks, they questioned Susan Slacks. She said they're going to handle it in-house. I think it's going to be handled in-house. I don't know of a whole lot of stuff that he's done at UK that really warrants him to be gone. And it could happen. He's a local product, so that does kind of get on your name a little bit. I will say this, and I'm only saying this because of the locker. Y'all take this shit outside the locker and say to somebody else, I'm going to deny it. I do believe he left Douglas High School and went to IMG for a year.
Mm-hmm.
He came back to Douglas. When he was in IMG, I heard he got in trouble in IMG. I'm not saying what the allegations are. I'm not saying what the reason was. But there was some. But that has nothing to do with UK. He finished off at Douglas and got everything cool. So Carter wants to know, what do you think is going to, given the information I gave you, what do you think is going to happen with him?
Man, this is hard. Because Anthony, I know I'm coming full circle with it. Because I talked about earlier, don't nobody give a damn about what happened in 1998 with 7-8 when Tennessee won, right? Anthony, when we were playing in the 90s and someone got caught with a little with a DUI at 0.0 whatever, no one would ever fucking known about that shit, right? That shit got put on a blotter, got spread across the internet. That shit was still hot. The damn ink ain't dry on this shit. Now, this is my problem. Do you remember a play last year that happened with Crowders and his attitude after he caught a ball?
Yeah.
When C-Rod had his issues, a little different, right?
Right.
Play hard guy, tries to do things right on the field. For a former player, some of that stuff, I can be like, come on, man, that's petty. When Vito had his issue, it was like, well, that's how Vito plays. That's how Vito plays, right? So you kind of like, I mean, he's got to straighten up sooner or later because he's a little chaotic on the field and he's obviously chaotic off the field. It's the same thing with this kid. He had some issues for me on the field. And it translates to off the field. And for that, I can't overlook it because I saw that shit in the SEC game. I don't have too much tolerance for that. We all know underage drinking you can't do. You've said some stuff or tweeted some stuff, in your actions on the field means that you're a little bit immature. You got to grow up, man. It's simple as that. And I think Stoops needs to force him to grow up or find another institution to grow up at. His development to me is he has slowed his own development down. I don't care whom is your coach. Mike Schnellenberger had a horrible linebacker coach his senior year. He was basically almost coaching the linebacker room.
Schnelly could play.
Don't put it at this level. You can't put it all on coaching. This ain't on Scott Woodward. This is not on Stoops. You gotta mature, and sometimes someone has to force you to mature, and sometimes that means having your ass bags packed.
Wait a minute. Is this Steven C? That's not Steven Clinkscale, is it? If you are, man, get the hell off our feed, man. Hold on. You think that's Steven Clinkscale? Well, I'm just kidding. I hope. It is actually, man.
Hey, if Clink is on here, that's some shit.
Stu be on here.
Who?
Stu.
Yeah, but Stu better be on here. That's called supporting your former brothers. Clink ain't got no affiliation with us.
No, me and Clint cool.
No, I'm talking about long time affiliation. I don't mind. Hey, I did the wrong thing. I don't mind him. I mean, that's pretty cool if he left here and he's on here.
Right. Hey, where you gonna get the drop from? When we telling everybody's everything, that's the only place to get the drop. You can't get the drop from K. I guess you can. You got 50-50 chance of it being accurate, but
yeah.
You know. All right. Oh, so this ain't the Clinkscale. But if you was Steven Clinkscale, would you tell us you were Steven Clinkscale? And if Steve Clinkscale's name really Steven, we're gonna put you on probation for a minute. Hey, no more comments for you, Mr. Clinkscale. I mean Steven. So this is what I did want to ask you. Draft what's the dude's name? I want to say Ty Washington. I could never remember Ty's name, and all of a sudden,
Cason Wallace.
Cason Wallace gets drafted 10th. We're gonna come back to this, but your boy gets drafted 58th overall. Livingston. Chris Livingston. Oscar goes to
Pacers.
Pacers. And Toppin goes to New York with his brother. His brother may be on his way out the door. The thing was, man, how did you feel about Cal going on air? And I understand, man. Sent out a tweet.
Okay.
Not on air. Sent out a tweet that, all right, I had to be there for my players. Man, I seen Cason get drafted. I'm about to go home, celebrate my anniversary with my wife. So back and drink some wine or champagne, whatever. I can't remember which one it was, and watch the rest of them because they decided to watch the draft home their family. And lo and behold, fucking 58th pick of the NBA draft. Comes out the damn stands.
The last pick of the draft.
Mr. I waited here in my suit in the stands, though. You wear a suit in the stands? Like, man, sit in the stands when you go. And hey, listen, this ain't no shade. It's real questions. If you, first of all, second and third, go through the whole scenario. Would you sit in the stands if you had to wear a suit? First of all, they asked you to wear a suit. If they asked you to sit in the stand, when have you seen a person in the lottery come out the stands?
I think there was a couple Europeans come out of the.
But they don't know no better. They're European. They
Yeah,
couldn't.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
They sent them the English version.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't in
college player that's in the lottery has come out of stands. No, that ain't never happened. I'm pretty comfortable saying that has never happened.
Second, third, and fourth. Livingston shuts down after the May 31st deadline. He shuts down his workouts and says he's not going to work out for anybody. Like he has a guarantee. The second part of that is he goes to the draft, like I said, wearing the suit. So he's at the draft, but you're in the stands. So I don't know how much of a guarantee you got. Third part is your agent tells you nobody starts calling people, which I think is not a big surprise. Start telling people not to draft him because we got somebody who's going to draft him. And he ends up with the Milwaukee Bucks, which is a great organization to be with. He's right in there between Giannis, and Chris Middleton. So yeah, so he fit right in at the damn four, but you still have to be able to play basketball. Like, how's all this sit with you? Was this at the end of the day? If that was young Hiles, would that sit well? Which okay, I'm cool with this. Or do some things need to be rethought and reconsidered? First, start off with Cal. Then what would you do if your name was Van Livingston?
I don't see how you can. If you're a Cal hater, I can sort of see you twisting it and put it on Cal. There's got to be a level of communication if you want the coach there. Casey Wallace was able to communicate. Dude, I think this is Clutch Sports trying to cover their ass. You are not sitting in the stands for the 58 pick. So you are trying to change the narrative of saying, okay, I'm going to sit. I know I'm going 58, right? So I'm going to stay here like I thought, like I orchestrated this to be here. I got to the team that I finagled myself into going to. No, you thought your ass was going to be probably pick 40, 38, maybe 45. You had no inkling that you was going to go 58. You can't. Why would you sit through a whole draft in a suit? When last time, Anthony, when we were in college, when last time you were in a suit for that long? You know that shit start itching. You know that tie gets tight around the neck. You get hot. Come on, man. We also know in a draft, any good athlete start like, oh, I can't believe that motherfucker got picked in front of me. Oh, how the heck? You start getting amped up. You want to be in the stands, getting all agitated. There's no way, man. They thought he was going to go higher. And they tried to change the narrative. Dude, come on, man. There is something to be said if pick 34 comes up and it's Denver. And Denver already is pretty deep at the 3 and the 4, right? So you don't see yourself maybe playing, right? So you say, okay, we want to finagle this where we're going to tell Denver, kind of like Eli Manning did to San Diego, we ain't playing it anyway. So don't draft us, right? Because we know the guy that the next 2 picks after you is somebody who we know we want to play for, who's going to pick. You don't say that shit to get to 58, though. Come on, man. Don't. If someone believes that shit, I can sell them some lakefront property in Baton Rouge. For sure. That makes no sense, man.
Did you think Oscar was going to go undrafted?
Yes. Yes.
You think he's going to make it?
Yes. He has a chance. I mean, what do you mean, like make it next season or just make it eventually?
Play a couple years. Nazi Muhammad, or, Jamal McGlory.
I can see it. I can see it. Look, here's the example. This is what I'm gonna say. He's gonna be a great locker room guy. There's a guy who played in Baton Rouge, Garrett Temple. Garrett Temple wasn't as good as his brother in basketball. Garrett is still playing in NBA. And I bet you Garrett numbers, if you look at him, you'd be like, how the hell he's still in the NBA? His numbers per game for his career, I'm going to look it up, is not very good for a guy who's been in the league, dude. Garrett came out around my sister time. So that's like, what's that, 05? 07 maybe? And he stayed alone a long time. You know why? Because he's a great locker room presence. Every coach he played for raves about the way he practiced, the way he prepares, and get his teammates ready. I see that as Oscar. He just got to find the right situation that would allow him to be that version of himself. That's a hard one to beat, though. So I don't know. I think he has a shot.
That's where all my problems come in, because we talk off air all the time on Sunday morning. Like, everybody loves Oscar. Man, I love Oscar, and I don't even use that word often. Problem is, for Oscar to have been successful, like you just said, he got to find a fit. Everything has to be tailor-made, and it has to be set up the way for him to be successful. Like last year, a lot of people had to give up for Oscar to be, for him to be successful. Like, a lot of people had to take a backseat for Oscar to be successful. They're not doing that shit in the NBA. But before we get out of here, I am going to ask you this. We signed Burks. We signed Trey Mitchell. We signed Santos Surreal. And what's the other cat's name?
Reeves.
Huh?
Reeves?
No. We signed a kid from. Hold on, I had it up.
I'm gonna tell you. So
Hart, Joey Hart.
Oh, okay.
From Indiana.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna tell you, Garrett Temple has played since 2009. The most points he averaged in a season was 10. All the rest are 5s, 6, 4s. Dude, he's been in the league since 2009.
But he probably got into his position. He probably got in that position being a team player, and being compatible with people. Oscar hasn't. Oscar destroyed our locker room.
Oh, see now
nobody's ever admitted that. I know damn well that. We talked about it on the locker. Wheeler ain't as bad as they said Wheeler was, but for what Wheeler had to do to be successful, did not compliment Oscar.
Ooh.
What Reeves had to do and what Frederick had to do did not compliment Oscar. If you throw the ball inside and Oscar gonna try to figure something, he's really not throwing it back out. So the shooters can't prosper off of that, and a dribble driver can't prosper off of that.
You were talking about on the court abilities. Yes, he ruined. I'm talking about.
They don't want you just in the locker room. They need to hire. What's the dude name to play? Eric E.T. They need to hire Eric Thomas. He'll come in there and get him right.
So you saying Oscar was a problem because everybody off the court thinks Oscar is that dude. Now you never heard about the tension in the locker room. You telling me Oscar was crazy?
You heard about it? No, I'm not saying that. Oscar he the man. Wheeler got sent to the bench.
Yeah,
because the two of them couldn't. But later we got our doors blown off on the game that Oscar wasn't defending nobody and couldn't score. Now Wheeler's the scapegoat.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying nobody said that. Nobody's not saying anything. I can look at it and see. Ray Charles can see. Helen Keller can see.
Oh, can Stevie Wonder see? Because some people say Stevie Wonder can see.
Hey, you know what? That'd have been a hell of a thing to start faking like you blind, man. It'd be like, Go ahead, change. I can't. I'm gonna be sitting right over here. Let me know when you're done.
Hey, so if Oscar can't go that route of being a locker room presence that can help now I don't want to say the development, can help the locker room culture and go that route, he ain't gonna last. He ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it. The
I think
only
he
way,
probably can though.
huh?
I think he probably can. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Everybody's acting like this is what he's gonna do. I'm saying he hasn't shown it. Do you? I don't know if you read into the notes or read into just the stuff. Why do you think he left West Virginia? Don't Bobby Huggins seem like his time of coach? A gritty, just get after and hustle coach? Like you ain't gotta have no skill to play for Bobby Huggins.
Right.
All you gotta do is be gritty and hustle.
Right.
He wanted, I believe at West Virginia, he wanted so-and-so, X, Y, and Z. And like, man, we can't have everybody just standing around watching. No.
Yeah.
And then he happened to win Player of the Year with us, and everybody was
right.
Hey, man, Bobby Huggins fucked up. Then the next year,
right.
I think Oscar. I honestly think Oscar destroyed our locker room. Nobody's ever said it, but nobody's ever said what the tension was. People deny it, but the people on the inside who know said there was some. We just don't know what it was, and maybe they just ain't. I ain't gonna tell us, but
I am eating and I'm smelling first and eating what you're cooking.
Okay,
I got you. I got you.
I can't cook that good, so I might just be smoke you smelling.
It is edible.
I'm gonna say this before we get out of here. So we signed, like I tell you. So Reeves came back. We never really got a chance to talk about it. So Reeves came back.
Yeah. We talked about it last time.
Okay, Reeves came back. We signed Burke. I just said who the other guy was.
You just said it.
Hart. We signed Burke, Hart, Surreal, and Mitchell. Trey Mitchell.
Yeah. So
we
really,
signed
2024 though, right?
Yeah, that is 24.
Okay.
Well, some people think he may still reclassify.
Oh, really? Okay.
Too late or whatever. But they was talking about him playing this year, so I don't know. Maybe they could talk into reclassifying.
He shouldn't.
I would.
But here's the reason why he shouldn't, right? Here's the reason why that allows Bradshaw if Bradshaw decides to play. I don't know if you know about that. That allows Bradshaw to play the 4. The 4. Here's the deal. I don't think you bring him here as a Kentucky program. He might transfer if he goes through that season and not play as much as he feels he should.
Huh?
If he stays out, he plays the next year.
Or he just go to the NBA. He on that level. Like he on that level.
Well, whatever. But I just don't see him coming here unless he's that kind of kid who's comfortable in his skin and okay with only playing maybe stretches of not playing a game at all.
Yeah.
Not getting in. So I just don't. This is what I like about it. This team now is it forces Cal to go small.
It forces Cal to coach. He's always had the talent. Last year he had talent. He didn't use them in the right way. He had different things. Depending on the game, sometimes you got to change up your lineup.
I don't think I said early on in the season that team is not a great group together. They got good individual players as a team. I just didn't see it.
But you got to put them on. Whatever. Like
Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, Pop couldn't have got too much more out of that team.
What? Oh
yeah, I don't see it.
I beg to differ.
I don't see it.
I beg to differ, man.
I just don't see it.
Differ. You got to go back and watch them Florida teams, man. Scotty Wilbekin and them. Some of them squads, man.
Anthony, you had no rim protector at all.
Who didn't?
We didn't.
On the court, or we didn't have?
We didn't have. Give me a rim.
We had. They wasn't on the court.
Who?
You mean to tell me Collins and Toppin can't protect the rim? And Yenzo can't protect. I'm saying you acting like that's for certain. I'm saying if it wasn't happening, I want one thing I do know, Van. And if I reach this screen and slap the shit out of you, one thing I do know, young people are gonna hustle. So while you playing Oscar all these 30 minutes, I'm not saying that Oscar, there are certain games, like you said, we need to protect the rim. If you put in Yenzo and Toppin in, if you put Collins in,
Toppin was already in.
Right, no, but I'm saying at certain times Toppin was pulled away from the basket. Certain times, I'm just saying with Oscar in the thing, if you pull him out away from the basket, he ain't giving you no good. If you put him in with somebody got pogo stick, he ain't doing you no good.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you got some athletic people who can shuffle, who can adjust, who can. I'm not gonna put that on the kids to say they didn't have it because you didn't see it. I'm not putting them to say that they didn't have it. I'm not gonna put that on them.
Okay. I think that team was poorly constructed.
I think he had a lot of people. He just didn't put them together the right way. I'm with you. Because they had all the pieces, that didn't mean they were going to play well together. Because with the shooters, you need somebody who's going to penetrate and dish.
Yep.
And then, it's crazy. Reeves was considered to be one of the shooters we brought in. He did his best things ball with the ball in his hand, creating his own shot. So more of a scorer, not a shooter.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, between Toppin, Onyenso, Ware, Collins, Sheboy, that was just a fiasco. So nobody ever really knew what their role was. So we didn't practice sets where you say, Scotty, pull up that triangle, everybody know what the triangle is. Shaq and Kobe and Paul, Jordan and Scotty. Man, hey, everybody knew the call, but with Cal, that wasn't the thing. I'm gonna say that is true. I'm gonna say this though, and we're gonna get out of here with this. A caller called in last week and said, 2 weeks ago, everybody was talking about we had 7 players, scholarship players. How can we compete for a championship or compete in the SEC with only 7 scholarship players? Now with the addition of Mitchell, Burks,
and
Hart, now they looking like, man, we got the backups to a top recruiting squad. Somebody said Cal got lucky. Then somebody made a hell of a point. How do you get lucky? And they said, how did he know that Bobby Huggins was going to get so-and-so to bring Mitchell in? And what's your take on that whole deal? Everything falling into place at this point in time? Because it didn't fall in place for Askew, and it didn't fall in place for Ryan Harrow. The years we ended up with them being our starting point guards.
I made this comment somewhere else. I'm going to start with this. First of all, luck is when opportunity and preparation meet, right? All right. So there's never luck. Second of all, like Justin Rowland said, is that you don't know what the situation was going to be after this. Just because it was Trey Mitchell, could have been somebody else. There were other guys coming in the portal that were hot. All right. That's the second thing. Third thing is a lot of y'all MFers were pissed off that he didn't close on Dickinson and the other kid. So now, how can you be pissed off he didn't close on them, but he closed on this guy? So is it the closing part, or is it just the fact that it happened late? So that kind of is weird. But this is my angle on this. I didn't know the kid until it came out, right? And then the writing started kind of clearing up on the wall for me. Cal said he knew him a long time, right? There was a connection between the two anyway.
Okay.
The guy he had a connection with recently that we just talked about, what school did he play for? West Virginia.
Oh,
wow. Did Oscar not come from West Virginia?
Yeah.
Did this kid not play with Oscar?
Yeah.
No.
No. Did he?
No.
He was 2 years at
Okay.
I think he was only at West Virginia for 1 year.
That 1 year? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's West Virginia 1 year. All right. Now, how do we know that I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. We're on the locker. How do we know that we were not tampering? How do we know that there wasn't a communication?
He thought
To
some
me-
Van House on.
To me, things happen real quick, right? People started putting out stuff before Bobby Huggins was even resigning, right? When he had the DUI, people was like, oh, well, that's some couple players on this team that we might want.
Right.
So if that's the case, that's usually some leakage. That's a slow leak in that tide for that information to get out so quickly.
Right.
So how do we not know that that Cal used the perception of Huggins resigning as the reason why we got him, instead of having to go the harder way where he graduates and then come here? Remember, he had to graduate first. So he couldn't have made this announcement in April or May anyway. He had to wait until he graduated. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. There's some stuff that seems kind of weird to me, that the Huggins thing just made this thing made the transition a little more seamless.
Before we get out of here, Mitchell played at 1920 at UMass, averaged 17 points as a freshman, 17.7. 2021, he averaged 18.8 as a softie. Transferred to Texas, averaged old whole ass 8.7. And last year, 20 through 23, averaged 11.7 at West Virginia.
Okay.
So, yeah, so he was there 1 year. So he'd been all over the map. So he'd have been UMass, Texas, West Virginia, now Kentucky. But he always been in double digits. I don't know what Texas did to him. Oh,
a bad
he only played in 13 games in his sophomore year. He only played in 24 games his junior year. So probably injury, I would say.
Yeah.
Anyways, I Googled search on Mitchell on Saturday, showed that he played for UK. Nah, man, that shit. Hey, that's UK. Hey, that's UK sports net. That's UK media, man. They don't get the thing together. We reached that part of the show. My favorite part of the show. Well, all the shows, my favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show is the conclusion, so that way I can go to bed and get ready for work tomorrow. Having a show on Wednesday, hump day, is a rough thing to do, but we always appreciate you. I appreciate Van House. I appreciate everybody for joining in. Steven Clinkscale, text me once you get off there and let me know it was you. If I don't get a text from you, then I'll know it wasn't you. Otherwise, we got to start. We got to have what's that dude? What's that person's name? Radio Bot. Whoever you are, man, check out Steven Clinkscale. Stream Bot. Check him out, Stream Elements Bot. Check him out and see who it is. We need to make sure he ain't. Because we don't work for UK, but hey, we don't want to get UK in trouble either. So, like, subscribe, share, follow, bring your friends with you, bring them along, share the link with them, tell them that they can come watch on YouTube, but you can also follow along on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We will be back next week. For Van House, I'm Anthony White, and this has been The Locker.